Hi, my name is Nyla, and I am 7 years old. I like my astronomy class, and I am loving it. And I've been learning my planets like the moon and Earth and the Venus, Mercury, and astronomy class is awesome. I've been learning about like Egypt and that stuff. And king and queens and and pyramids and
What do you think thus far of the International Homeschool program?
I believe it's the best investment I could have made for my daughter and for myself as well, because learning astronomy and African heritage, it was needed. It was much needed, and
Oh, yes. A blessed love to each and everyone. Give thanks for your presence with us. The Mawe, Haile Selassie, the power and might of the Holy Trinity to be exalted. Of course, you know, this is the Tiger's Nest, the Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, your humble servant and your humble host. We're going to have a wonderful sit down today. I will be interviewing our African Ghanaian chief. I'm talking about Brother Damian Benjamin, who has now been installed as Brother Quasi. I had a wonderful sit down with him several days ago, and we're going to bring the fullness of that interview to you. Some of you would have heard it on Radio Anu, the audio, but now you're going to see the video. I sat in his office, myself and the Honorable Princess Acacia Menin, and of course we exchange a lot of good words and inspiration and even some good ideas. And it was a very good discussion, and you're going to full joy it. I'm just, of course, highlighting and reminding you, family, I'm talking about from the 17th to the 24th day of June. This is going to be the biggest summer solstice experience that we have had thus far until the next one. Yes, I'm inviting everyone internationally to come to the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, specifically the island of Antigua, where we will be having our annual summer solstice experience, 7 days of joy. Of course, you know, we have the double hike to Green Castle Hill. That is 2 specific hikes, the sunset hike and the sunrise hike. Remember, we're going to have the island tour where we definitely, you know, show you all of our historical sites and definitely all of our national treasures. Definitely at the same time, remember, we're going to be having the lecture evening. That is going to be on the Saturday evening. We're going to have our great historians. We're going to definitely be presenting you with the griot. Brother Paddy Simon will be teaching us the history of Antigua, and that is the evening before the first hike. So you already will be getting a good idea of the heritage and the culture of these islands here. And then don't forget, we have the cannabis tour, the cannabis educational tour. And of course, the chalice talk. We're going to be doing the yoga retreat. That is a whole day session, the yoga retreat with the Honorable Empress Naya. And of course, yoga will be a part of the whole experience outside of the retreat when we do the morning beach yoga and the evening beach yoga. Some of you may be saying, wait, how are we going to fit all of this into 7 days? I'm not even nearly done. We're going to be visiting the Rastafari communities. We're going to have our Sabbath service. When you come in on Friday the 17th, we're going to have our meet and greet when we're going to sit and, of course, exchange words. And some of you will be meeting myself for the very first time. Listen, it's just going to be a joyous event. It's going to be a wonderful session. As I said, from Friday, the 17th of June, what you need to do, the main thing you need to do is to make sure that you have your ticket ready to come from wherever you are in the world, whether you're in France, Spain, whether you're in Sweden, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in Venezuela. Just make sure you organize yourself on that level. This is going to be an experience that you'll never forget. What I'm inviting you to do as well is to contact us, of course, via the email, precisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Also, you can WhatsApp or call Rastafari Experience Antigua, area code 1268714. That's 714-1227, or same area code 12687288289. And of course, we have already organized, family, with several travel agencies for those of you who will be coming to visit us in Antigua. So we'll make sure you get the best price, economical deal, if you want to call it, for your traveling here to Antigua. Of course, your accommodations all will be taken care of. Your meals all will be taken care of. And of course, the whole experience that you will be getting. And I can tell you, it will be a very inexpensive package. If you're serious about having a good vacation, yourself and your family, you understand, for 7 days. I mean, when you take a vacation, it's at least 5 to 7 days, maybe even more. Definitely, I'm inviting you to come to Antigua to experience for sure the majesty of Green Castle Hill. This is our national treasure that many of us in Antigua are not aware of. I must say, and I always say it really, it is because of our educational campaign. I'm talking about Rastafari Experience Antigua over the years. Why, and I'm happy to say why the nation of Antigua and Barbuda are at least waking up to this national treasure that we have with us. These megalith volcanic rocks protruded out of the earth, and aligning with the movements of the heavens, aligning with the movements of the stars. So definitely this is an experience you don't want to miss. Now is the time, family. This is not no last minute thing. You got to contact us now and let us know that you are interested in coming. So let us start the ball rolling. Of course, you got to talk to your boss or whoever you got to talk to and say, boss, I'm going down to Antigua in June. The boss might just say, hey, you can't go because I'm going to, we got to leave somebody here, but whatever the case is, lock down the business and come. Yeah, man, because it's going to be basically, it's going to be not just a summer solstice experience. It's a wellness experience as well. I mean, you're hiking, yogaing, breathing. You're going to be getting the best food. We're talking about vegan ITIL food that you're getting from us, the best quality food. So it's a real serene wellness rejuvenation experience. Family, listen, this is not something that you want to pass up. Summer solstice experience here in Antigua, double hike to the pristine Green Castle Hill. And let me just remind you quickly that the Redemption Healing virtual workshop for the natural childbirthing is still on, but not only still on, family. Remember that if you get your tickets by the 2nd of May, you get $15 off of the whole session. Remember, we're talking about a certified workshop for those of us who are interested in natural childbirthing. So this workshop is not a lecture, it's not a presentation, it's a 2-hour workshop facilitated by the Honorable Empress Naya. As we know, she is a certified and professional international doula. And for sure, I mean, I already got a sneak preview. Some of you got a sneak of the sneak preview. So this is something that no one would want to miss. If you're really interested, in the whole aspect of giving birth naturally and getting the real sense of it from a professional, definitely you'd want to be a part of this workshop. The workshop is the 9th of May, 2022, from 8 to 10 p.m. The admission is only $50. Remember, at the end of this workshop, you'll be given a certificate, a certificate of attendance specifically. You will not be certified in the field, I just want to be clear. you will receive a certification of attendance. So for those who want to get more information on that, all you have to do is contact us. You know, that ain't gonna hurt to contact us. It doesn't cost anything to contact us, in a man. freescience@institute@gmail.com. Okay, now as I promised you, I did a wonderful interview several days ago with Brother Quasi. Well, he's attorney Damian Benjamin, but specifically he was installed as a chief in Ghana, and he's now Brother Quasi. Now, in the interview, I actually went into all of that. So I'm not going to take too much time. I'm just going to go straight to the interview. Yes, that's where I am here. I'm right in his office. Beautiful sit down. I know you're going to full enjoy it. In fact, let me not say anything else and go straight to the interview. Yes, sir. All right. I'm coming.
Blessed love to everyone. Give thanks for your presence with us. We glorify the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. You're definitely in the tiger's nest, Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. And we have a wonderful sit down, a wonderful session for you this day. Oh yes, we have in the presence of us. Well, I should say I am in his presence at this moment. We are in the office of the good brother, attorney at law, Brother Damian Benjamin, pardon me. But I was more meditating on his newly African given name, Brother Kwesi. Me and Brother Benjamin, we really go back our way. We never really attended the same school, but you would say similar schooling and similar environment. So I know him from since we were little children and such, but he has definitely made a name for himself, born right here in Antigua, but he has definitely traveled to the African continent, where he has gone through his naming ceremony and has received his certification of completion. You actually can see on the wall here with his official name, Kwesi Kowinu, specifically from the African Akan tradition. So I'm here again in the good brother's office, myself, and of course my personal assistant is here with me, Honorable Princess Acacia Menin. Blessed love to you.
Greetings, everybody. Greetings.
And give thanks for your presence with us.
Anytime, anytime.
And it is a joy that we could be in your presence to speak of, you know, your tradition and how you have come to this path in your journey, you know. But before we go thus far, tell us a little bit, you know, even if it's just in a nutshell, about Brother Damian Benjamin before we reach to Brother Kwesi.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I am a student of life, and as such I try to practice equitable measures, try to deal with individuals on a level playing field, and I guess to some extent that was my calling, because most of my work throughout the years have been in the service industry. Mm-hmm. I've always been involved in some form of service, whether it be through my first two professions that I had before becoming a lawyer. So that has always been the situation. It so happened that in 2018, I had the good graces of meeting a good friend of mine, my sister, who's now a business partner with myself here in the firm, Miss Ray Huggins. She's also called as well. She's also been given her position. We met with Ambassador ARCHAEOASTRONOMER from the United Nations. At the time, she was the ambassador to the US, and we invited her to Antigua. She came. We had a grand gala here with the Governor General, and as a result of that, we were invited to the 67th Annual Congress of the African Union in July of 2019 in Niger. At that point, we did not know what was going to happen, where we were going. But the experience, the fact that, you know, we were here in Antigua, and the powers that be, you know, whether it's a spiritual to higher divine purpose, the individuals who sit in the position, saw it fit to canvass the Caribbean, the sixth region as they call it, the sixth region, the diaspora. And they came to Antigua. They found myself and 3 other of my colleagues, and we were the delegation that went to the 67th annual conference to represent the sixth region. Out of that, you've seen all that has happened. You've heard about the ECOWAS, you've heard about the Pan-African paper system, you heard about them moving towards the one Africa with the one common passport. So all that was instrumental in pushing that forward. And as a result of that, Her Excellency Ambassador ARCHAEOASTRONOMER, the founder of African Diaspora Development Institute, we decided to push the message forward. One of the flagship things that we started doing was the African Diaspora International Savings Bank, a bank owned by the diaspora for Africa, for Africans outside of Africa. That is still in the process. We're still working on that.
I want you all to listen to this conversation. Good, you know, I know sometimes one's not into the sit down in the interview, but the brother speak a lot of different vibrations there that we should meditate on. Listen to what he speak about the unification of our economy in the bank. At least just take it in.
Forward. And as a result of that, Her Excellency Ambassador ARCHAEOASTRONOMER, the founder of African Diaspora Development Institute, we decided to push the message forward. One of the flagship things that we started doing was the African Diaspora International Savings Bank, a bank owned by the diaspora for Africa, for Africans outside of Africa. That is still in the process. We're still working on that. And the other thing also is the Wakanda One project that I'm sure everybody is hearing about in Ghana. That was launched in December of 2021.
The brother also is playing a part in the Wakanda project that is taking place in Ghana as well. I know a lot of you would follow up on that.
Returned from that, and that is planning to be a big thing. Obviously, it's about housing, hospitals, universities, different things to help, foster relationships between Africa and the diaspora at large. So as a result of that, we were welcomed back home in Ghana, and I went through the naming ceremony, and I was installed in terms of giving office, in terms of doing what I'm doing. As you know, there's a difference between chieftaincy given by birthright and by ancestral based on the works that you're doing. The fact that I'm not originally from Africa, they looked at it in a situation based on the work that we're doing, that you are doing the work of a king. You should be acknowledged as such. So we have come back to our shores here, and we have walked.
I'm not gonna be cutting in much more. I just want you just want my audience to keep speed with what the brother is saying. So it's because of the works that he was doing, not being born in Africa and everything, but when he went to the motherland, they told him that, listen, not because you were not born here, but for the works that you've been doing, you're actually doing the work of a king. That was their opinion of him.
I'm doing, as you know, there's a difference between chieftaincy given by birthright and by ancestral based on the works that you're doing. The fact that I'm not originally from Africa, they looked at it in a situation based on the work that we're doing, that you are doing the work of a king. You should be acknowledged as such. So we have come back to our shores here, and we have walked meekly as we normally do and humbly as we always do. Its titles mean nothing to us, because it's not about the title that you have that says the measure of the man. It's who the man is and what you do in your lifetime that speaks volumes about what you do.
Well, I must say, just to cut in quickly, because I'm a regular, I check out the nightly news, and I can't remember hearing this on the headlines at all.
This is the point. It was never meant to be a headline, because it is not as I should say, a journey is an individual journey for a person. It's not for the mass. My edification, my sanctification, my titles have nothing to do with anybody outside of me. And whether I decide to use my titles or not, it doesn't change the man. Because there's a saying, I am who I am. If you are a king, you are a king wherever you are. You don't need somebody to recognize the title. They will see you and know that you are a king. Just by virtue of how you present yourself, the type of works that you do, the things that you deliver.
So may I ask, would you consider the title, is it a ceremonial title in the sense that do you have a whole village at home waiting on you?
We have responsibilities that
yes.
we have to adhere to. You know, we are responsible in terms of fostering relationships. We have to get back to the council. We are required to at least go back at least twice a year to visit and to have discussions. So in that sense, yes, you have a responsibility. It's not just a situation where you're just a kid outside. You still have to try to manage stuff. As I said to you, like for example, the matters that are happening now in Ukraine, we're involved in that not from a position of a political position,
yes.
but on an equity basis, rights and human rights of individuals.
Yes.
Whether you're Ukrainian or any other Polish, whatever nomination or race, all races should be treated equally. And one of the things that came to our attention is that a lot of Africans who are studying in Ukraine have been treated disproportionately in terms of the evacuation process due to the war. And evacuation is evacuation, and I think on a humanitarian basis, people are people, and that shows that there's no empathy in terms of the African race, in terms of other races, how they empathize with us. And that's a difficulty that we need to change. That's something that we need to actually look at. But again, if they're not individuals out there that are looking out for your own interest, then these things would happen. Because you do find the Ukrainians look for the Ukrainians, the British look for the British, who look for the Africans. So it's not a situation where I'm blaming the British government or we're saying the Americans are wrong. We're saying that our own African nation governments should actually stand up for the Africans. For those who are studying in Ukraine, you should actually make a statement to try to bring your people home, because they're your people. If the Ukrainians are abandoning them, the British are abandoning them, the Americans are abandoning them, and you're not saying anything, you're abandoning your own people as well. So that's how we look at things on an equitable basis. It's not a political statement that I'm making, it's just a human statement. And on a human level, we should be human and just try, if we're evacuating, all colors and creeds. There shouldn't be a preference in war.
Right. Well, as you say, it's not a political statement. I don't want to carry too far into the politics of it, but am I to believe that there are African countries that may be turning a blind eye?
Well, that's why.
Even Jamaica is standing up strong.
But this is the point. But this is why I made the point about that. And if you are an institute that you are fostering and trying to develop relationships with the motherland, trying to get that kinship back, then you have to be able to speak freely and candid with your brothers and sisters without being offensive. And this is where we try to, get our position on our stance straight. We try to make sure that what we do is not offensive. We're not trying to antagonize anybody. What we're simply trying to say, as Africans, as people from the diaspora, we should look for ourselves. We don't always have to turn to the West. Why can't we turn to people who are melanated?
Positive. Let me ask you something about the bank. You mentioned the diaspora bank. Yes. So where would be the location of that?
The headquarters at the moment is being planned to be in Antigua.
Oh, okay.
Again, and there's a historical reason why we're saying that. Antigua, from my point of view, I can't speak from everybody's point of view, but Antigua has a history that is tainted with the mindset of how black people around the world think. Antigua. This is from Betty's Hope, Willie Lynch.
I hear you.
Right? One of the biggest contributions that has ever left this island to the world has been the William Lynch letters. That's how to subjugate the black slave.
Yes,
that mentality is what's doomed the black race for the last 400 years.
And let me say, pardon me, and especially to Brother Quasi, pardon me, I know you may be even observing this, and pardon me for interrupting you, but I just want my audience to clearly get what the brother is saying, you know. And this is why I so love when Brother Paddy Simon the Great comes around, so he can expound also on the Willie Lynch letters. You know, they're ones who say Willie Lynch didn't exist. You know, those of us who are, you know, the modern day Google intellects, we a lot of things that are credible, somehow we're pushing them out the door. Slavery never existed. You never hear that. Oh yeah, some people will tell you we are the Indians. You know, not that the Africans were here. We're not Africans, we're the Indians. So there are many different school of thoughts that goes against what I would consider solid knowledge. So there are many that tell you Willie Lynch is the figment of somebody's imagination. Well, I don't think no one can deny that the Willie Lynch syndrome, whether Willie Lynch is real or not, but the idea of what Willie Lynch brought is real. Okay, we can agree on that, I hope, because that's right in front of your face. But at the same time, right here in Antigua, hear what the attorney says, you understand. You see all them certificates on the wall and what was behind him. Look at one day on the cabinet and those on the next side of the wall that you don't see. And of course, you know, we're not saying because you have letters and papers mean you're the highest of the intelligence. You know, that's not what it is. We know that's the world, how the world set it. But the point is that that is something known in Antigua. You know, even in Jamaica, Willie Lynch had plantation. We have a place here we call Willoughby Bay. We have a village we call Willie Keys. Willie Lynch is a real thing right here in Barbados. And I'm just highlighting, you know, the accolades of the brother just to show you it's somebody that one would consider, you know, a notary public as such. And he would definitely be highlighting Willie Lynch. Hear what he said? That's one of the greatest things Antigua ever exported, the Willie Lynch letters.
Antigua. This is from Betty's Hope, Willie Lynch. This historical.
So where would be the location of that?
The headquarters at the moment is being planned to be in Antigua.
Oh, okay.
Again, and there's a historical reason why we're saying that. Antigua, from my point of view, I can't speak from everybody else's point of view, but Antigua has a history that is tainted with the mindset of how black people are all over things. Antigua. This is from Betty's Hope, Willie Lynch.
I hear you.
Right? One of the biggest contributions that has ever left this island to the world has been the William Lynch letters. That's how to subjugate the black slave. Yes, that mentality is what's doomed the black race for the last 400 years. That started here. So we were of the opinion that in order to change that narrative, something positive has to start from here. Because it did leave from here, you know. They came there, Willie Lynch went to Virginia, he went up there, he showed the slave masters how they wanted their slaves to their plantations. And we're here where we are 400 years later. You know, you're talking about the 1619 project. That's what it is.
Yes.
Right. So let's be real about where we are, you know, and where we're going. You know, and there's a saying that he who doesn't know his past is doomed to repeat the things in history that happened in the future because you don't know the past. And sometimes being woke, as they say, you know, being awoken is not a situation of being mentally awoke, it's a situation of being spiritually awoke. Because you need to be spiritually awoke to be able to discern what is right from what is wrong. And in this particular time that we're in life, it's a spirit of discernment that we as humans, we need to have a moral compass. Because you don't need to read a book to tell you if God is in a man. God's commandments right in your heart. From the day you're born, you don't write in your heart.
Of course.
You understand? Don't write in your heart. You don't need to read a book for reconfirm what you don't know spiritually. If you're spiritually inclined, you're not gonna walk one. And that's what we need right now.
Instinct.
Yeah, the spirit of discernment, because that as well will also make us make strong, positive decisions politically and economically as well, for sustainability. Okay, if you do this, it's going to harm this. So we need to take that over.
Well, since you brought that in, you know, and give thanks to the Willie Lynch word sound, because of course a lot of the borrow phrase they just use woke. A lot of woke people, of course, would know of, yes, the Willie Lynch letters, but really don't know how important not just the Caribbean but Antigua played in Mr. Willie Lynch, from Willie Keys to Willoughby Bay. And you know, the stains do remain. But since you mentioned making the right decisions, I think that, of course, education is a very important aspect of this. And you know, so many things that you're speaking about, and so many things come into my mind. I'm thinking about reparation.
Let me address something you just said a while ago about education.
Well, that's where I was really going.
I know. I figured that. I realized that. Now, an educated man can still be a fool. I start out from that premise.
No problem.
And the reason why I start out from that premise is this. Sometimes the more educated you get is the more you specialize in a particular field. The more you specialize in the field is the less knowledge you have about other things. So an educated man can be a fool. Follow me, come from. It doesn't mean because you have the degree, you accomplish the certification means that you're educated. It's a balance between knowledge and education, right? Because you're gonna have people who are not educated but are knowledgeable about a lot of things, and you want to, but oh, this man in a hand degree, but he know all him something. He's a wise man, but that doesn't mean he's any less than the man that have the piece of paper on the wall, right?
Of course.
So education without studycation, because a lot of things, and you have to remember, before we had books, a lot of things that men did was just by trial and error, study things pass out. You need a balance of the both to understand the real world, because a lot of the things that you pick up when you're educated in the books have no real world application.
Definitely.
You understand? Like, for example, we do maths. A lot of us do trigonometry. A lot of us do basic algebra. Now that we've finished school, ask any adult, but last you do algebra equation. It is specific to those who are in that field, meaning again, educated but specialized, narrow, and just know that. They will only regurgitate that. And you have to understand, when the system realized that, they educate people not to open their creative minds to be the best of themselves, but to fill positions for the construct.
Well, you see, this is where I was coming in relation to even the African Diaspora Institute. What's the word?
Development Institute.
Development Institute, right. So we're developing here.
Right.
And the reason why I brought in, another word, education. The semantics of it might be ticklish. But when I said education, I'm more looking at an educational system.
No, we have
that we have gone through,
yeah.
And a lot of people listening are already in, etc., etc. Now, as African people in the diaspora, and the reason why I brought in education, because you were speaking of, these were not your words, but in a sense, you were speaking of the natural instincts within us should allow us to make right decisions, should allow us to think properly. But from birth, we have an education system that has been given to us that is not applicable to African people in the diaspora. I'm saying that as nicely as I can. You understand? So as as the African Diaspora Development Institute and the work that you do, what measures are you taking to infiltrate? Okay, for example, I'm going to show you this just because I think it's the best example. I do a essay competition every year. This is the 9th year that we're doing the African History, Priest Isaac African History Month essay competition. And basically what we do, we get devices like these from laptops, tablets, and things of that nature to be honest, to entice young children just to go and look up their African history. Now, I know that may not take them, let's just use the term, to Zion, but it would begin to spark their mind, at least some of them, in their Afrocentricity. Some of them never even heard of it, really. And so that's, you could say, the little we're doing, although we are attempting to make it bigger, trying to get it into, if it could get a piece of the little budget that we have every year at the budget speech, trust me, I honestly believe it will do a lot going into the future, looking futuristic for the mind of our children. So that's what I'm saying as far as the international educational system that has really come down at our people, even in Africa for sure. You know how it is. You have been to the continent, you know that even there, there's a lot of stay, religiously and otherwise, left on the people for colonialism.
You see, the issue with that comes down to history. And
right.
Words carry power. It's exactly what it says, his story. Those who conquer write their story. And that is just how it is. So when you look at education from that glance, you then realize that you have a biased, one-sided view of what you're being told. And it's for you to understand and accept, because knowledge is there to be sought after and to seek and to find, right? If you want to get knowledge, everything is there for you to find it, The problem with it is that people sometimes can't handle the truth. Some people are not willing to seek for the truth. And then when they find the truth, they don't know what to do with the truth. Now, there's a number of things that you can do in any situation. Some people ask them, how many sides a coin have? They will say 2. A coin actually have 3.
3 sides, the third side.
You understand?
I dropped one already and it stopped.
He rolled, exactly. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people say, 2 side, a 3 side you have. You understand? Something of a balance to 2 side. There's always a balance. There's always a balance. And what you have to realize is, in life, anybody of color, of African descent, there's just one question you have to ask yourself, what is your purpose?
As you were telling me earlier.
What is your purpose? I sit here, when I look around, qualified, I'm an attorney in England, I'm an attorney here, I'm an attorney in many parts around the world. I sit on boards for different companies, my kids are in college, I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm married. What is your purpose? That is what society said that I should have done. But what have you done? When you sit down, you ask yourself that question, what is your purpose? And then you answer that and you say, what exactly have you done with that purpose?
I think that is why you have another purpose that society sees you doing.
Correct.
Maybe the purpose that society wanted you to fulfill would have assisted you in reaching the purpose that you are more comfortable with fulfilling. Because as you said, you look around, maybe those who are watching you, those who see the video, see you in a little tie and your jacket. But then you also have your African, there's a few pictures we have around here. I will show the audience the pictures, those who will be watching. What you have on you, what's the right term for the African garment, the chiefhood garment?
I just have on my Kente cloth.
That's it, but there got to be a name.
No, it's all Kente.
I know it's a Kente cloth.
I'm not versed with all the tradition, I'm not going to even lie to you.
Princess?
But
Well,
she's well versed.
She's well versed. I as I said to you again, it's,
What's it
well,
Well, it is a kente cloth, and I see all the jewelry in it.
Okay.
But only chiefs wear that the kente cloth as well.
yeah, but that's what they said to me. So
Only the chiefs.
yeah,
So when we wear it around here,
you can wear it now because I'm here.
oh, okay, I hear you. Okay, okay. All right, with understanding. But the Wakanda, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yes. We want to know a little bit about that. You hear a lot of people speaking about the Wakanda, not just the Black Panther movie now, but the village.
The village itself in terms of what we're doing. And it's Her Excellency's vision, Her Excellency Alcana Chimbakwao, along with a lot of the other able members of the ADDI team, which include myself, my sister here, Sister Ray, Dr. Lakeisha Harrison, and a few others who, under her stewardship of the ambassador, is really pushing this forward. The whole idea is really, through the ADDI, is to push the message of unity, and that the fact that Africa is calling you home. It's
Sorry,
been,
we're still in the decade of what is it? The decade of the return. Is it the return? Or?
yeah, started with Ghana.
Okay.
So we're still in there, but it's not about in the decade of return. We as people, as diasporans, have to realize that everybody has a place that they call home. Where do we call home?
I totally agree with that.
Right? Because
the separation has been a while.
Correct.
And it's been well mixed.
Right. And you have to understand.
From
Correct.
Senegal and my father first.
And you have to understand that there is a divine spiritual connection to our black people to Africa. When you come off the plane your first time and you walk and your foot touch the side, you feel different. And it's not a situation of a mental thing like you're hyping yourself. You literally feel different. When you walk around and you see almost 100% of what you're doing is all black owned, all black people, you feel different. Nobody discriminates against you because of your color of your skin, you feel different. You feel, you start see your empowerment, you start embrace yourself. It's a different feeling. It's something that you have to experience to believe. And a lot of people wonder, why you think the British people go home when they live in the Caribbean? Why you feel they leave Germany and go back to Britain? It's their home. Germans in the States, they go home once a year. They go visit Scottish people, they go home to Scotland. The Irish go home to Ireland. It's only we, the only people that don't want to go back to where we come from.
And here comes the education again. we don't even know that that's our home.
No, we know. But we are people that, when you're people that are powerful and you build from your hands, we're the only race that build everything from our hands. So you can't take away nothing from us because we manifest from our hands. That's why it's called manifestation. We think it, we see it, we be it, and it comes. It's always been like that for the black race. Always been like that for the black race. So we don't have that same apathy, that same appetite for destruction, for killing, for murder, for war, for violence. Because we are kings and queens, naturally. Royalty. When you're royalty, you don't devolve into uncivilized behavior.
That's definitely. Yes. But this is why I'm saying, as you said, we know.
But this is what I'm saying to you, have not to do with education. This is a spirituality. Because the spirituality as well will also help you discern the knowledge that you get.
Maybe education is the word that's blocking us. Because remember, as I said, willingly, they would cut out our mother's tongue.
Correct.
So that our mother would not pass on the language to us. So we have to learn whatever else we hear. So I think it's on that level. So if we eradicate just the term education, it's about passing on an agency.
Correct.
And to bring the word back in, education system is built to actually block that.
No, it is. This is why I start out saying the system is built to create workers, compliant workers.
A Rockefeller system.
Not people that are allowed to think independently. You go to school for all them years, you come out with a degree to go in to do a 9-to-5 job, doing the same thing every day. If you through your studies come up with an idea and say, this can be done this way, you can't change the people in business. They go say, what's wrong with you? They go fire you and find somebody else to replace you because you know how to do them say. And then you now thinking that your brain, what you just come up with, is something wrong. It's not wrong. Maybe it is right, but they're not giving you the opportunity to use that creativity to move forward. That is what people and knowledge is there for help pass on, so you make things easier. Look, I don't believe that we as our nation, as a black people, have to go through a lot of the other issues that they reckon we need to go. We just need to go as far as Timbuktu. That is as far as we need to look as Timbuktu. Everything that the world has a civilization.
And you mean real Timbuktu?
Okay.
No, you know, Timbuktu is a term we just use loosely, so somebody may feel they're just saying it. Okay.
No, I'm talking about the real Timbuktu.
Mali.
That when you go to Mali, you get to Zagora, you jump on camelback 52 days to Timbuktu. That is how you get there. You get to Zagora, jump on a camel, 52 days, Timbuktu.
Being a bit graphic.
Right. No, I'm just meant to know how you get there. So, you know, so people know that we've been there, right? And it's a different type of education. When you hear about the 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness, it's about the education at Timbuktu. It was the way of how they could, let's say Jesus went in the desert for 40 days, 40 nights. He went to university to find out, to learn Timbuktu. Plato, Socrates, they all went to Timbuktu, you know. These are the pinnacle of the Western civilization. 15 years, Plato. Socrates, 10. For you to be a scholar in Timbuktu, you have to study for 40 years. That's why the Buddhist monks and the people in Timbuktu keep the same type of tradition. Not religion, tradition. For you to be a monk, you have to study for 40 years. When you feel the monk can hit you with a finger and paralyze your body because they study that. They're well learning. They know what I'm do. That's why I hate the terminology, life begins at 40. Because between 0 and 40, you don't know nothing. You're infant. You don't know nothing about life. But you see, they're not telling people the real story. You get a version of what they want you to hear, and reality is out there. Just like what is going on with Russia right now. Well, somebody should just come and say, y'all remember 1991? When the US and y'all broke up United Soviet Russia? What y'all thought was going to happen? It's only 30 years ago. It's not that far. 1954, Brown versus the Border Ed. First segregated school in the United States where black people go to school. It's not that far. It's in our lifetime. So why are we acting like, whoa, we're in this new world? No. The more you think people change, is the more we remain the same.
As you alluded earlier to, you know, in one sense, we are educated not to think. Those are not the exact words, but I think...
no, that's what you summed it up right.
Yeah, dedicated.
You summed it right.
Well, my good brother, you know, we're going to look to bring this to a ceiling.
Of
course, you know, I'm very thankful for the time that you have spent with us and the information that you imparted to the audience. But in closing now, in your sealing words, how would you, I wouldn't say what advice, but how would you see the future as it relates to those in the diaspora? And of course, those on the motherland. Of course, you've given us a lot of information on the works that you're doing, economically, educational-wise, humanitarian-wise. But if you were to put it in a nutshell, especially for the audience, you know, what word you would give them maybe in the way they could assist in this work, this international work of bringing us together on all these different fronts that you mentioned?
I'm going to say it again. We as a people need to have a spirit of discernment.
Yes, you did say that too.
That is the major thing that is blocking us as a people. That spirit of discernment is what is going to allow us to filter the foolishness that has been pumped into our heads for years. We've seen what it is. In North America, it's either you're a rich basketball player or sport athlete, or you're a rapper and drug dealer. There's no in between. Right? There's no in between. So that's what you all aspire to. Look, flip it on the other side for the black female. Pimp, bitches and hoes. Strippers. That is what we aspire to as a race. No in between day. Nobody a scientist, nobody do nothing that they get any credit, that worth credit. Because even if you find a black person that is of quality and you put them to the public, man, that's the nigga's whack or whatever. It's just the mentality of the value. So you need to have to discern amongst certain things for yourself and put value on yourself. You have to know yourself. Know thyself. Not because somebody doesn't value you. You have to value you. You have to know the value of you to you. And once you know that, you can then walk anywhere on this world and be who you're supposed to be. I am who I am.
Like the video
That's what a lot of people need, you know, that's confidence in self, as the Bible says. Ye are all gods. Yeah. So find
I see it stuck there a bit.
God in yourself.
Correct, because we
I think that's what a lot of people need, that confidence in self, as the Bible says. Ye are all gods. Yeah. So find that God in yourself.
correct, because we're made in his image and likeness.
Yes.
So I am who I am.
Brother Quasi,
Thank you.
Brother Doctor, giving you a lot of titles. You have so many already, boy. Attorney at law.
But this is why I say to you, titles mean nothing. What I've learned in my life, people don't follow titles.
Yes.
People follow leaders.
Yes.
You don't have a title. Once you do the right things, people follow you. You don't have a title behind him.
Well, outside all the titles, you're my brother.
Of course.
Damian Benjamin.
All the
Blessed
time.
love, my brother.
Every time.
It was a wonderful sit down. I'm very happy that I shared it with your family. Give thanks for your presence. I will not keep you too long. Just reminding you, just contact us if you need more information as it relates to the summer solstice hike to Green Castle Hill. Remember, for sure, those who are not into the vaccination stuff, they have definitely dropped that protocol or that demand or that stipulation, whatever you want to call it, since the 13th of April. So now you could come to Antigua without any proof of any vaccination, and definitely, you definitely still would have to take the tests for sure, at least at this point here. Maybe by that time, all of that would be over. But whatever the case is, for sure, we are looking for you to join us from the 17th to the 24th of June. Just start to get yourself in order. Contact us, so you can get a good idea of exactly what the itinerary is exactly, specifically from day to day, although I already sort of explained that, in different videos, but for sure, so you could see it for yourself, I would like you to visit Rastafari Experience Antigua on Facebook as well. Also, as far as even booking your plane tickets, as I said, you could also contact us and see if you would like to work through our travel agency or agencies, if I'm not mistaken, that we have connected with, or you may have a better way to arrive. You may be coming on your yacht. Yeah, well, that's the vibes. But whatever the case is, I'm looking forward for everyone coming and joining us from the 17th to the 24th of June. Remember, the 21st specifically is the day that is recognized as the summer solstice, the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. We are talking about the beginning of summer again in the Northern Hemisphere. We will be having the cannabis educational tour, Chalice Talk, the island tour. At the same time, remember, we'll be having the whole yoga retreat. It's going to be wonderful. And remember, your accommodations and your feasting, or your meals, as they call it, is a whole wellness experience that you'll be going through with us. The lecture night with our historians, our griot, for sure, will be presenting the information that you definitely need to hear, even before we even trek up to Green Castle Hill. I'm still hoping to work along with our resident archaeologist, which is Dr. Reginald Murphy, but I will certify that for you as we go along. But it's just going to be a wonderful session. Remember, we'll be having the Sky Watch night too, where we will watch the sunset from Green Castle Hill, and then we'll be observing the stars as they come out. Wow, what a wonderful session this is going to be. Giving thanks for your presence, mighty family. Life giver and the keeper of life, of course, the Green Castle Hill experience. And remember to contact us to reserve your spot for the Redemption Healing virtual edition of the Natural Childbirthing Workshop, which is slated for the 9th of May 2022. And remember, if you contact us before the 2nd of May, which is just, well, right now, you'll be getting $50 off of that ticket. Family, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Remember, all the descriptions, or all the links are in the description below. Even all your payments could be made through PayPal or CashApp, and even the link to the website, Radio Anu. And remember to join us live for the Tiger's Nest. 7 p.m. every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Radio Anu, So 7 p.m. tonight, Radio Anu, Tiger's Nest in full effect. Life giver and the keeper of life. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Give thanks, blessed love.